So, if you already have experience advertising on major social media platforms and also on the main search engines on the internet, you can already see that there is a huge potential audience here, and I'll explain why. As you saw in the title, you want to scale your dropshipping operation. And obviously, I'm going to introduce you to a traffic source here that you can use, which will allow you to achieve this scalability. If you made it to this video, it's because you make sales on the internet. Whether it's with e-commerce, info products, cost per action services as well, whatever it may be. And you want to scale even more. In other words, you're someone who's already between intermediate and advanced. Not that beginners can't watch this content, of course you can. But this was actually a request from my own subscribers here for me to bring even more technical and advanced content for those who are already in the game and getting results, selling every day using traffic sources like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads. And then, for sure, you might get stuck thinking, wow, how am I going to scale my operation, my business, my e-commerce or whatever product you sell just by investing a lot more money in the traffic source I'm using? And yes, that's one way to scale, but know that there are other ways to achieve scalability. So I want to introduce you to one of the best ways for you to scale your sales even more, to scale your business even more, your dropshipping operation by using a traffic source, a traffic platform that will make this scalability much easier. And you'll understand its power. The name of this platform is Taboola. So looking here directly at my computer screen, you can see that I'm on the O Global website, looking at a regular article with content. All good, no problem. How does this Taboola traffic platform work? How do the ads that you can run on Taboola work? Simply, when you get to the end of the article, you know these related articles that are here? So Taboola's ads appear here. As you can see, there are already some ads showing up here on my computer screen. Check out these ads. Every senior citizen should have one of these in their bathroom. This is e-commerce. This is e-commerce. Look, sneakers, an ad here, parakeet repellent. And pigeons become a craze. In other words, there's a product for everything. Anti-snoring device. This kind of product. Anti-snoring device. I've sold a lot on Taboola, really a lot. And if I access it here, I'm going to click. I'm going to be redirected to another page, another type of site, which looks like an advertorial. In other words, it's an article that warms up your potential customer before they get to the product offer. So the customer will read, he'll see all the information, images, it shows the product here. It's this anti-roll pillow that I sold. It shows all the information, and at the end, there's the offer. This is how ads work. When a person clicks here, they will purchase the product. It's quite simple to grasp. And as you can see, it's just an impactful image, a strange image, an image that really grabs attention. Here you have the headline, the title of your ad, a short description, and the button. That's all there is to the ad. So if you already have experience advertising on major social media platforms and also on the main search engines on the internet, you can already see that there's a huge potential audience here, and I'll explain why. If you start bringing this into your e-commerce operation, whether you're working with dropshipping, traditional inventory, like I mentioned at the beginning, any type of product, service, or digital product, you can use this native ad format here from Taboola. If you bring products that are already validated on other traffic sources and bring them to Taboola, it will give you a scale you can't even imagine you could have. Precisely because you'll be reaching a large portion of the audience that you normally don't find elsewhere. Because think about it, your potential customer is reading an article, so they're dedicating all their attention to that article, whether it's on mobile or desktop, though most of them are on mobile, but they're fully focused on reading that news. And then at the end, they already know there will be other related articles, but as they scroll down a bit more, they see a series of other images, other headlines, and in this case, they think, obviously they won't realize it's an ad, they think it's Globo recommending something to them. So basically, you use the authority of major portals, of big websites to advertise your products. And the most interesting thing about all this is that Taboola has the largest network of websites and portals, not only in Brazil, but also in the world. So just imagine using the authority of O Globo, which is a very reputable website and everything. It gets a lot of traffic. Imagine how many people are going to see your ad, and these people automatically are already more qualified. They're reading articles, often even on finance or investment websites. In other words, people who have high purchasing power. So I made a point of bringing this content and explaining a bit about this ad format because yes, I've been advertising with native ads for many years. I was among the pioneers in delivering content on this subject, particularly in the dropshipping industry. I was already advertising online long before dropshipping became popular, thanks to my over 10 years of internet experience. So instead of you keeping on hammering away at traffic sources that you can't scale, where you can't increase your budget, or you don't have that deliverability anymore, or you've basically already saturated the audience you're trying to sell to, this is an excellent way to scale your sales and consequently scale your business. Because within Taboola, you can advertise without any kind of budget limit problem. Taboola doesn't block ad accounts or have strict rules, making it a better platform for advertisers. Following rules is necessary, but account suspension won't happen without warning. Besides that, as you know, every year it gets more and more expensive to advertise. The metrics are getting pricier, but it's not impossible. The market is getting more competitive, and you have to be open to new possibilities, new platforms, new sources of traffic. Native ads within Taboola are one such possibility. And then when we access it here and browse a little more, we see ads of all kinds. Ductless air conditioner without external unit, top facial moisturizer for Brazilian seniors. It's precise, right? And the cool thing is that you can use the ads as a reference for how they're made, and then you keep browsing and see each ad. Old collections from designer brands with amazing discounts at Hotlet. In other words, e-commerce running here, selling regular products, commodity products. Look, there's a tire sale and many products here, including the anti-snoring device and sneakers. They have everything. Military glasses, look at this. Military glasses perfect for fishing. In other words, there are products for every type of customer. And obviously, before you ask me, yes, inside the dashboard, you'll have a series of features to track your conversions. And they have a primary cookie tracking system that works very well, which collects information from the visitor who is seeing your ad and accessing your e-commerce. And then in this way, it improves the user experience, which usually doesn't happen in other traffic sources. Because you've probably already had a lot of problems with tracking your metrics, tracking your sales. Sometimes, for example, a sale shows up on your ad dashboard, but when you check your e-commerce, that sale didn't actually happen. That actually doesn't happen within Taboola, precisely because of this primary cookie tracking system, you know? Look, as you can see here, I have a credit limit of 50,000 reads. I've had this account for a while, specifically in Taboola. And as you can see, you can create your pixels here in Taboola. Besides that, it's not expensive to advertise on Taboola, you can rest assured, especially because it has a smart bidding system. So Taboola itself can optimize your budget because here within Taboola you pay per click, that is the cost per click. You set a cost per click and you'll enter an auction to see who is paying better there. So you can make smart bids and obviously also take advantage of Taboola's own optimization, which is used and even powered by artificial intelligence that helps in this cost per click optimization process. Not only that, but other metrics as well. So if you're already experienced and know exactly what I'm talking about, if you already have a little knowledge about advertising on the internet, you understand how important this is. My dashboard is very straightforward. It includes campaigns, tracking, audiences, rules, and reports. That's basically it. The whole process is really simple. And obviously, I want to give you some tips so you can get the best results advertising here on Taboola. Whenever you're setting your cost per click there, how much you want to pay to get a good sample of your ads, I always recommend, even showing here on my computer screen, that you start between 10 to 15 cents. There's the option here, as I mentioned, for Taboola's own automatic optimization using artificial intelligence. And based on primary cookie tracking, you'll be able to optimize here in the best way. But there's also the fixed cost per click option, okay? I can set the cost per click here at 15 cents and keep it fixed. And obviously, I can adjust it day by day, week by week to get the best results for myself. Another very interesting thing you should do is keep creating a variety of creatives. Here on Taboola, I recommend that
you test
many creatives, including images, headlines, and descriptions. You can see that there is an absurd amount of creatives. You have to keep running a lot of stuff. It's really a lot. The more creative tests, images, everything you can test and do, wow, you can be sure your results on Taboola will be really good. And obviously, I couldn't leave you guys with nothing here, right? I talked to Taboola, and whoever opens an account with Taboola will have access to premium consulting. Actually, it's even a premium service from Taboola itself, where a Taboola specialist will help you create your account, handle all the integration, configuration, and your first ads. Look at that. Have you thought about it? You already start your account with practically a premium service, a manager, your own account manager who will help you with the whole integration process. Obviously, I'll leave a link right below so you can create your account on Taboola and set up your first campaigns. Before anyone asks me, I'll also go ahead and answer about the investment issue. I recommend that you set aside an average of 100 to 200 Rs per day to start your first campaigns there on Taboola. Of course, you can work with different types of budgets within Taboola and even higher than what I mentioned, but I always like to point out that it's a good idea to also test with this budget model so you can get good results within Taboola. As I mentioned, I'll leave the link in the description for more information. If you have questions or want me to cover more native ads content, please leave them in the comments. As I also mentioned, the link in the description is for you to get this premium service to help you create your account, set up, integrate, and apply. It's only through the link right below in the description. At the end here, you'll notice that I left 2 videos related to this content that will help you a lot as well. A big hug and goodbye.